Christine,
Hello.
I was just making sure your mic was unmuted. You start us off, kid.
Yes.
Okay. Hello, my name is. And we're live. We're live. We're live.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to today's episode of Giggles and Giggles. My name is Christine.
Hey.
I will be your host today. I hope you're all staying warm and taking your vitamins because, cold season's coming up, weather's changing, you never know what's going to happen. And today I have my two lovely co-hosts. We have Jasmine over here. How are you doing today, Jasmine?
I'm doing well, Christine. Thank you so much for asking. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Wow. And are you registered to vote, Miss Jasmine?
I am registered to vote.
Wow.
I do my duties as an American, and I'm registered. Now, the big question I think on the floor today is, are we all voting? I'll leave that for the next discussion.
All right, sounds good. And last but not least, we have Miss Andrea. How are you today?
Hello. I'm doing well, darling. How are you?
I'm good. And are you registered to vote, Miss Andrea?
I'm a card-carrying member. I'm a registered voter. So I've been voting for a while now. So yes, I is. Yes, I is.
That is perfect. And that goes along with our topic today. So we will be talking about the 2020 election.
Yay! Woo! I think for the people watching, they should know there's only a couple of people that plan these topics. I am not one of them. So this will be fun for everyone. I'm excited.
And before we dive into the topic, I just want to express how important it is to vote. It is so important. Every single vote matters. Some people will be like, oh, if I don't vote, it doesn't matter. Everybody else will vote for me. But no, every single vote matters. I'm just going to reiterate that. And so, Jasmine, how did you feel about the presidential debate if you watched it the other day?
Well, Christine, I will say, when the presidential debate was happening, I was at the gym. I won't even lie. I was at the gym only because, one, if you don't know me, I'm on my new gym kick. I feel like everyone is during quarantine. However, I made it a point to myself of I wanted to watch it, but I was going to watch it afterwards. When I went home and I turned on the computer and I was scrolling through my social media feed, all of the comments that I saw about it made me not even want to watch it. I feel like me watching it wasn't going to make me an even more informed voter. It was going to deter or sway my emotions. And it was going to control what the focal point of watching the debate was to get more informed on the candidates that are running for presidency. So I didn't watch. I decided not to even watch it. What I actually learned from it, well, let me sidetrack. When I did receive go on social media and look at all the comments that were happening, being talked about, I saw a lot of people say, oh my God, it was preliminary comments that people made before it actually started. People were saying, I can't wait to dive into this, what is going to happen. And they're like, I got my popcorn ready. And it seemed like people were hyping it up, making it seem like they knew it wasn't going to be what we all wanted it to be. It's kind of what we expected it to be, but not what we hoped and wanted it to be. So I was like, I don't even want to even entertain it. So following that, I took it upon myself. I was like, you know what, Jasmine, you need to do your own, since we don't have the opportunity to hear from our president, our future presidents, or the candidates for presidency like we want. I need to do my due diligence and research on my own. Okay, what is each platform? What are they standing for? What are they fighting for? What are they for? What are they against? Because right now it seems like what they are putting out is something that I can't rely on. I can't rely on it for information like I wanted to. So that was my experience on that day. A little disappointed, but it put a fire under my butt to take action upon myself and to do my due diligence of what I should have been started doing and not relying on these debates that go on. I need to take action and do my own research. So, it was bittersweet. I'm happy about it overall. So That's what I have to say.
And Miss Andrea, did you also watch the presidential debate?
I did and didn't. Let me tell you something. So I tuned in maybe 5 minutes after it started. I was working there. I got a lot of stuff to do, but I don't think there's anything more important than our democracy. However, and I do think we all take it for granted. And I do think for the 5 minutes that I tuned in, I was like, I know where this is headed, and so I didn't have the capacity to take all that in at that time. And so I am getting, as I get older, and I'm approaching 40 now. So like as I get older, I start realizing what I have the capacity for. And I just did not have the capacity for that at that time. However, there's nothing more important than our democracy. And I don't think we should take it for granted. And I think earlier this week, it was a reminder that it's fragile. Our democracy is fragile. So what you saw was its fragility, right? And sometimes we think that nothing can happen or it can withstand anything. And I think we learned that that's not really true. So I think what I saw or what I took away from it was just the fragile nature of democracy, this experiment that we are calling our democracy. And so I do feel like in watching it, it just reminded me of that.
Yeah, it was definitely interesting seeing the different like personality types and leadership types
Sure.
coming to stage, even with like the moderator himself, seeing everybody's personality and how they, I guess, prioritize their morals and what they thought was important to do within the next 4 years. And speaking of leadership types, Miss Andrea, what is your leadership style like?
Whoa, okay, switch. All right. So let me tell you what I'll tell you. Like, I'm part Joe Biden, part Donald Trump. Okay. And so for me, I won't even lie. I kind of get all of it. I get just from a larger perspective, I understand it. Like, I feel like you want certain types of people with you in a street fight. If you're ever in a street battle, there's a certain type of person, and I'm not from Detroit, but I'm close to it. I'm from close to it. And so I claim it as if I'm from there. So I sound like I got street cred, but I don't. It's a small town outside of Detroit, but I'm from Detroit. So, I mean, there's a certain kind of, confidence you need, and there's a certain bit of swagger that you just kind of have when you're in a street battle. But the question then becomes, is what we're doing a street battle? This is not Street Fighter either, right? So there's this kind of concept of being a lion and a lamb, right? So that's a concept where you have to kind of be both. And so it's so important to me in leadership is to really channel the right one at the right time, right? When do we need to be all like ferociousness? I think that's called for sometimes. And then I think that there's times when gentleness is the best way forward, right? So I would say my leadership style that I strive for is the right mix of lion and lamb.
I think that was a really good way to put it, actually. And I guess I will ask the same question, Miss Jasmine. What is your leadership style like?
That's like the second time you've gotten missed today, Jasmine. I'm not saying you're getting old.
Oh.
I'm not going to say you're old, but
I'm saying everyone listening in, if you don't know, now you know. My age, and I don't like to tell people, I am 22. I know, right? Like, what? I'm 22. But I say all the time I'm 35 because I don't like people knowing my age because they think, ooh, she's young. No. So I say I'm 35. So people have been calling me Miss. I'm like, ooh, I am getting old. Okay, but my leadership style, I would definitely have to say it's a combination of a lot of things, kind of piggybacking off what Andrea said. I feel like your leadership style definitely has to go hand in hand with the person that you're being a leader to, the group you're being a leader to. I feel like, of course, the most common one is the democratic leader style, where you take everyone's input into consideration and then you form your conclusion based on that. I feel like another leadership style that I like to do is like the transactional leadership style, where it's like you reward someone based on them doing well. So if someone does something well, then you reward them, and kind of like a sounds bad, but kind of like a dog or like a pet. It's like they do good, you give them a treat. And they know, oh, I keep doing the good thing, I'm gonna get a treat. So so I like that style as well. There are some times, I won't even lie, where it's like I like to say, okay, this is just where we're going, this is what we're doing, we're going ahead with it. And like you don't offer any input. Those are like case by case basis, but I definitely think it's just based on who you're working with at that time. I definitely also feel like your leadership style can evolve. I know for me personally, I wasn't always a leadership person. I didn't like managing groups. I still sometimes don't. I like to, of course, I'm the person that I don't like to tell people what to do at times. That's just me, but I've learned that in order to grow in what you do have to manage some type of group or individual person. But your leadership style can be how you want it to be and whatever you think is effective and gets the job done. So your leadership style, it doesn't have to be the most common one. It doesn't have to be what everyone else is doing. Even the ones that are written out in stone, like you learn when you're in school, like things like the most 5 or 7 common leadership styles, even if you find one that's not a common one or one of the 7 top ones, and you just make up a leadership style of your own. If that's what works for you, then go ahead and do it. But I definitely think mine is a combination of a lot, but it's definitely evolving every single day because I learned so much about myself, so much about the people I manage and what they're good at, what they're not good at, what are they responsive to, what are they not responsive to. But yeah, that definitely comes with, I know Andrea as my leader that I am under. I learned a lot of leadership styles from her. Also, my parents, I learned a lot of leadership styles from them and my peers. So yeah, that was like a long answer to like a very short question, but it's okay.
No, I think that was a perfectly acceptable, valid answer. I think
What
at
about
AAP,
you? What about you, Christine? That's what I like when you think of, I guess maybe can I ask you a question? What leadership style do you best respond to?
I guess just like sort of what Jasmine said, like an adaptive one. Like I was about to say, like at AAP, we're very much like responsive and adaptive to our environment and how, like what we need to prioritize to get done. What do we understand like the situation is and like reading the room and stuff like that. So I'm very good at like adjusting and like understanding what I need to prioritize at that time. And it's also like understanding like when I need to step up and when I need to like listen to others, you know? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Definitely. Ooh, I have a question.
Yes, you are muted, Miss Jasmine.
Okay, I have a question for the room. Is there a leadership style that you don't take well? Or like if someone is like, let's say you have a leader, is there a style that you're not that well responsive to? I think I worded that totally wrong, but I hope you all understand what I'm getting at. But is there a style? I know for me, I don't know if there's a style that I don't respond well to. I know personally, I don't know why this is, but like even though I love doing transactional leadership where like I reward someone for doing well, I don't know if I receive that well. Not because I don't like receiving things. I love receiving things. But I just feel like you rewarding me, I don't know. It's something about it that I'm just like, like I don't need to be rewarded for my hard work. Just let me know that was good, and I'm good with it. So I know for me, I don't like that style, personally. But yeah, that's something I could think of. But do you all have like something that you don't respond well to?
I've had a lot of leaders, so I feel like maybe I can weigh in just like a little bit. I when I was younger, I would say like younger in my career, I would say that, I didn't know enough about how people lead. But I think as I've gotten older, there's no real leadership style that I don't get along with, if you will. I don't have favorites, right? There are personalities that I disagree with, right? But everybody is entitled to their own style at which they command a group, right? So if you are leading a group, everybody will have a different style, and they can be effective. So the style is not so much an issue for me. I do think one of the things that I do think is that there are certain personalities that are tougher for me than others. But at the end of the day, I don't make it about me. And that's a big lesson I've learned is, and I think someone told me a long time ago that leadership really is just making the best decision you can with the information you have at the time. And that's it. And I think if you put on your compassion pants and for other leaders, and you go, I'm hoping that this person is making the best decision they can for the group with the current information they have. Everybody would make better decisions if they had all the information. But if you don't have all the information, you've got to make a decision. We just hopefully kind of go with like the best one that we have.
I think that was a really good way to word that. I was going to say something similar with like just working with what you have and also like having compassion for others and like being understanding. But I guess like the only one I don't like is when leaders tend to do stuff like secretly or like on their own and not communicate with like others. And then they get angry as to why others aren't like praising them for their work that they did, that they didn't even tell others that they did. And they're like, oh, I deserve all this praise. I did all this work. And the other leaders are like, oh, you did? Well, you can't just expect praise from me after you did X, Y, and Z, you know? It's a little like ego, like pride stroking kind of thing. I'm not really here for it. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, we're kind of early. I guess throwing another question out there. How's everybody?
I got one.
Oh,
I
okay,
got one.
okay.
Okay. I don't know if this is a thing, but there's another debate coming up, the vice presidential one. I don't know. I mean, like it's next Wednesday, I think. But let me ask you this. Have you guys ever been in a debate, like in a formal format? Or question, when you are in an informal one, what do you find that you, or maybe not that you find that you do it, but other people say that you do when you are in a debate with someone? Oh, Jasmine, hand raised.
Okay, I love this question because when I was younger, I was actually on a debate team. I was on a whole debate team. We went to a school to compete. Unfortunately, funny thing, unfortunately, my debate partner, she got sick, so we couldn't debate. I was so upset because we practiced so hard. But growing up, I always loved debating, even though children don't do this. But I even debated with my parents. Like I was that kid that was like the smart. Okay, I was a very smart person, like a smart kid. Like I got all straight A's. Like I was very smart. I rarely got in trouble with my parents, so I was very trusting. But when there were some instances with my parents in which there was a debate that was had, I would always make comments that were like true comments, and it's like my parents, they didn't know how to take it because they're like, dang, that is true. But they're like, stop being so smart. Like, no one asked you. And I'm like, I'm sorry, it's just true. But I would definitely say I love debating. I even thought about being a lawyer, but all the school, I was like, I can't do it. But when it comes to like debating, and not just it's the part that I don't like the debating, like going back and forth. I just like coming hard with facts. Like I like coming hard with the straight facts. Like here are the receipts. I have them. Now you can't say anything. So I love that feeling of like, I have all, like, here are the answers. You thought you could lie, but no, here you go. So I love that feeling of, I got you.
Being right.
Yes.
I understand. That's the being right feeling.
Yes.
So Jasmine likes to be right. Is it better to be right or be happy?
I feel that's definitely hard because you could be right, but something that happens after it is maybe not a happy moment. It can definitely lead to like a lot of emotion, not from you, maybe from the other party. So I would definitely say that's hard. I love watching
they say that for relationships, right? So I think about that in all of our relationships that we have, like even debating, you can salvage a relationship or you can lose a relationship because you have a need to be right. It also makes you stubborn, uncoachable, unteachable, untrainable because you want to be right.
Yep.
And I think that we saw a bit of that on display earlier this week, that
Mhm.
need to be recognized, as Christine said, and then also that need to be right. And
Mhm.
so there is a time when it's like, I want to show you how right I am.
Mhm.
And then it clouds everything else. It can cloud listening, it can cloud all of those other things. So
Mhm.
what about you, Christine? What about your debate experience? Do you
Yeah, I was
get
gonna
into a
say
lot of
this
fights? You're kind of mellow. You're not really.
same thing. Well, I don't like fighting people because normally I'm not right. But when I am right, I come with, like she said, facts. Like when I took AP Gov my senior year, we had to do debates on like some issues. I don't even remember what it was. But I asked my teacher, I was like, can I draw up a graph and break it out? Is that like legal? And he was like, I mean, technically in court they do that, so yes. I came out with a whole pamphlet of like drawn out graphs to prove as to how I was right. And like both sides had like, a reasoning as to why they would be right. But I had graphs, so I won. Yeah, I definitely like having receipts, but normally I just tend to not like debating.
I do. I don't. I mean, okay. So, as I like in the shadows here, it's like my dramatic effect of the dark side coming out. That's my dark side. So, so for me, I typically, I am not afraid to go to the mat. Right? That's that ferociousness. I mean, if you're bringing it up, you better be prepared to lose. If I will engage, I don't engage if I'm not certain that I'll win, or I don't engage if there's no end game that is a win. So at the end of it, that's the first thing I do. And I think that's just a matter of like managing energy at this point, because it takes a lot of energy to engage with people and debate people. So I just think at this point in my stage, I've learned like just over time, it's like, what is the end game here? Like I'm right, and then what? Or if I'm wrong, then what? What have I sacrificed at the sake of being right, or just for the purpose of disagreement? If there's no win, then even if I win, I've lost. Then what are we doing? What are we doing, people? What are we doing? I just wanted to know. I just want to know, Christine. You always seem so nice. I don't know. You don't seem like somebody that would be like. I don't think you're picking fights.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a fire sign, so once I get heated on something, I like tunnel vision.
Don't let it
but,
go.
like, yeah, other than that, I'm like mostly water sign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally get that. Totally get that.
Yeah. Anyways, one last question. How are you guys preparing to vote for this election?
Man, I'm ready. Like, okay. Are you guys mailing it in, or like what are y'all doing?
I'm actually going to the poll. Like, I want to do the whole physical thing, even though I know COVID.
Me too.
But like, I like the physicality of like marching to like whatever place I'm ready to vote at, where this courthouse, what have you. I love that feeling. Okay, marching, going in there, filling out the physical ballot, pushing it. Like, I love that whole like activity and action. So I'm planning on doing like physically going to the polls to cast my vote. But I'm definitely, like I mentioned like earlier, preparing myself, make sure I make the right decisions, because like Christine said in the beginning, like every vote matters. Electoral college votes, they're a real thing. So definitely take all this serious.
I don't know. For me, I'm with you, Jasmine. There's something about going to the polls to vote. I don't know about this whole mail-in thing and the fraud. And I was like, that's not even. Listen, I plan events. Okay, I don't audit mailboxes. Right? I think we should care and be knowledgeable, but that's not what I do best. Okay, what I do best is these here events. Now, having said that, I feel like going to the polls is like something that people before us died for the opportunity to do, right? So I don't know. It feels like the cheap. It feels like mailing in your ballot is what you should do for sure. Everybody should vote, but I also feel like it's the cheap experience. Like I want the full thing. I want the corona risk. I want everything. I want everything about it. I want to show these people my license, and I want to like actually Scantron in my vote, like the whole. I want a sticker. All right. I don't know if you mail it in, do you get a sticker? I want a sticker. So there's just parts of it that are like, I want the full experience. We only do in Virginia we do it every year, but in many cases you only do it every 2 years or every 4 years. So when you think about it, I got maybe 6 presidents left, maybe. That's it. 7 presidents left, and that's it. So I'm voting for every one of them.
Yeah, the last general election, I was too young by a month to vote.
Oh,
so that was super sad. So I'm very excited this time. But I'm gonna mail in vote because I didn't know how to change the registration, so I requested a mail-in ballot. But it's fine. I'm still gonna vote anyways.
Good. So
but yeah, on that note, we're going to start wrapping up our show for today. Just another reiteration, please vote. It's so easy. If you don't know if you're registered to vote on Instagram, you log in on the feed, top of the page. It says, are you registered to vote? Click. So easy. You can check. You can change your ballot. You can request for mail-in ballot. It's so easy. So good.
Hey, can I have a point of privilege, Madam Chair?
Yes.
May I have one point of privilege?
Yes.
Okay. Robert's Rules of Order. Great job today, first timer, like your first time hosting. Christine, good job. Haven't seen you in a while on the stream. So number 1, you're number 1. Yay. I'm in the shadows. This is great. I love it, actually. I love it. Poor lighting. Love it. But it's outside and it's gorgeous. But you did fabulous, Christine. Thanks for hosting. Have a great weekend.
Thank you. Yes. Have a great weekend, everybody. Stay warm, stay safe, eat your vitamins, and vote.
Eat your vitamins.
Eat your vitamins. I eat mine because I can't swallow pills. Yeah, I get the gummies.
Hey, shout out to Ollie. We take sponsors. I love Ollie chewable vitamins. All right. So we